Good morning to you and welcome again to the garden at Penalt. Again, a beautiful sunny day, and thankfully at the moment none of the usual garden tools are being used by our neighbours, so an opportunity to welcome you to this week's weekly praise. It is a shorter offering than usual, as will be the case throughout the summer, but we hope that you will find something in this service that you will enjoy. I thought I was going to have to tell you today that there will be no more singing for the foreseeable future in our churches, because the incidence of COVID in the Monmouth area has increased, and we were looking at the possibility that singing would be suspended. But we've just heard from the church in Wales that the government have now decided that churches themselves can decide what they consider to be low risk. And so if you consider that your church is in a low risk area, you can go ahead with singing. Our gospel for today comes from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 20, and beginning at verse 20. And the mother of Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons, and kneeling down asked a favor of him. "What is it you want?" he asked. And she said, "Grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at your right and the other at your left in your kingdom." "You don't know what you are asking," Jesus said to them. "Can you drink the cup I am going to drink?" "We can," they answered. Jesus said to them, "You will indeed drink from my cup, but to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared by my Father." And when the 10 heard about this, they were indignant with the two brothers. And Jesus called them together and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." This is the gospel of Christ. Praise to Christ, the Word. Just a reminder there that the Christian life is different from normal everyday life. In the world, being the most important, being the boss, being in charge, having authority is everything. But in the church, the upside down kingdom of Christ, things are different. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled. Those who humble themselves will be exalted. And if you want to be important in the life of your church, then you must become the servant of all. Don't look for other people to serve you, but look for ways for you to serve your church. Don't look for the ministry area to serve you, but look for ways for your church to serve the rest of the ministry area. And in so doing, we fulfill the law of Christ. Have a wonderful week.
We lift our voices to the Lord Most High. With joyful singing we will glorify the great Creator, the author of all life. We are His people and He is our God. He always guides us in His ways with love. Let joyful praises come fill this place in song. For the Lord is good. We shout for joy because the Lord is good. He rules the earth with everlasting love. How good is our God? Enter His presence with a thankful heart. Enter His courts and let the praises start. Give God the glory, for He deserves it all. All of creation lives to worship God. We were created as an act of love. Let adoration flow from this place in song. the Lord is good. We shout for joy because the Lord is good. He rules the earth with everlasting love. How good is our God? For the Lord is good. We shout for joy because the Lord is good. He rules the earth with everlasting love. How good is our God? Faithful God, never-ending goodness, ever-flowing kindness. You are faithful God. You are good. Faithful God, never-ending goodness, ever-flowing kindness. You are faithful God. You are good. For the Lord is good. We shout for joy because the Lord is good. He rules the earth with everlasting love. How good is our God? Yes, He is. For the Lord is good. We shout for joy because the Lord is good. He rules the earth with everlasting love. How good is our God? How good is our God? How good is our God? How good is our God?
Well, the plan is to take out the parquet floor in the church and the concrete floor and replace it with a lovely oak floor, which will match the oak dais we already have. And that will make the church almost perfect acoustically. Unfortunately, to be able to do the work, we've got to sell the remaining central pews. I've got one in my front garden. You just paint it with some yachting varnish. But the good news is that these are pitch pine pews, which is probably the hardest softwood. Very, very comfy chairs that we can arrange as we want. We can have services in the round, we can have theatre in the round, and it'll be lovely and comfy. The only trouble is we might have to poke some people who might nod off doing services.
We're at Lancatic Bible Naval at the Church of St. Cadoc's, which is an old, but basically an old 13th century church, or the tower is certainly 13th century. The rest of it it's been heavily reworked over the years, and I suppose would now be described as an example of a late Victorian rework of an ancient church. And all that rework was done by the Rolls family. The main use of the church, in the last 5 years, at least 5 to 10 years probably, has been as a base for choral concerts, mainly run by Andrew Greenwood, who used to live in the manor, and he was the choir, or the choral conductor, I think they call him, of the Welsh National Orchestra. and he lived in the manor, or in the old manor. So and he had a great group of people around him. We had some wonderful concerts here. One of the main features of this church is the glass, is the windows. The glass is particularly good. In fact, Morgan Guy refers to it as probably being the best glass or Victorian glass in Wales. All the marble decoration here in the chancel and around the altar and some of the altar plate is again all very high Victorian, and because this was the Rolls family church. The organ, I'm afraid, is a complete wreck. The keyboard's virtually destroyed. Half of the internal pipes have gone. That has been declared irreparable. That window there is one of the Kemp windows and is considered the best window in the church. Unfortunately, as you can see, if you look at it carefully, that one is extremely fragile indeed. And we're desperate to try and get some glass restoration done before they fall out. What we're hoping is that once we get this pandemic over, that we can do some work on the windows, I think, and that will probably exhaust our money then.
Now we're thinking about approaching confirmation. Our confirmation date is fixed for the 7th of November, and we're going to be starting confirmation classes in September. I'd be interested in hearing from anyone who wants to know a little bit more about confirmation. Those who were baptised as babies, when they become a little bit older, want to affirm the faith for themselves. Nowadays, although we see initiation as complete in baptism, and you can receive Holy Communion from the time that you are baptised, confirmation remains an important part of your spiritual journey. It's a time when you take that faith on for yourself, when you know that it's not just something that was promised for you, but something that you truly believe for yourself, and you want the grace of God to help you to continue that journey. People can be confirmed any time from 11 years old upwards. The oldest person I know who's been confirmed was 91. So if you've never been confirmed and you'd like to know more, confirmation classes are a relaxed way of finding out a little bit more about your faith and what it means to you and why it makes a difference, why God is important for your life. If you're interested, please do get in touch, or even if you just want to know a little bit more.